So there's a mitzvah of Simchas Yom Tov, to rejoice on Yom Tov. And that means to enter Pesach with joy and to remain with joy. And this year, there are additional significant obstacles to being able to achieve that. And I hope to share with you today a number of ways to try to achieve that goal. I've got a lot to share from many sources. Before I do that, I just want to mention a couple of things. First of all, tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, we have a siyum for firstborn, and there is new login information that's taking place tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning at 7:30. So please make sure that you have the new login information, which is on our website and in the emails. Also on our website, we have our bulletin, and we have also produced a Seder booklet and guide to prayer at home that we invite you to print before Yom Tov and to use at your Seder, and that is in the emails that we're sending. If you did not receive it by email, please let me know and I will send it to you. Also, just to mention that starting next week, we will have a number of new initiatives that we are beginning. We are re-engineering Adath with new remote ways of learning Torah, socializing, and helping each other. So please make sure that you're getting regular emails from us. We're sharing so much information, resources, updated daily. If you're not getting emails, please let me know. We want you to be able to receive them. Also, please check our website and Facebook. We're updating that daily as well. Just a reminder, if you have not yet done so, to make sure to arrange for the sale of chametz by this evening, 7 p.m. That information has also been in our emails on Facebook, or you can just call me or Rabbi Alex, and we will gladly take care of that for you. I've publicized a number of leniencies specifically for this year, and it's the right thing to make use of these leniencies because it's an extraordinary year, an extraordinary circumstance. So they cover many different topics of preparing for Pesach, koshering, products, what to do with new utensils, and much more. And that's in the emails that we're sending. Again, if you did not get it, please let me know. I have a very practical suggestion, and it's something that I just realized this Friday night. It's something that is now obvious to me, but it's taken me, I don't know, almost 40 years to realize that. And that is as follows. On Shabbos and Yom Tov, we make Kiddush. And very often, you'll have one person who makes Kiddush for everyone who's assembled. So usually on Shabbos in my house, I make Kiddush for everybody. And what I normally do, and I've been doing this, as I say, for many years, is I hold up the Kiddush cup and I make Kiddush, and then I give some for everybody to drink. But I realize all these years I've been holding the Kiddush cup in front of me. And now I realize, with the medical information that's coming out, that I'm actually spreading germs by holding this cup in front of me. So what I started to do, and I started it this week, and my plan is to continue, it seems obvious once you think about it, is just hold the cup over here when you say Kiddush, so you're not getting germs into the cup. It's a very simple, practical suggestion, but I haven't seen anybody else discuss it or do it, but it's my suggestion to you. I also have prepared a message that will be in the next email, and I want to read it to you. It's very important, and I urge you to share it with others as well. I realize this weekend may be extremely difficult for some of us, especially if we or someone we know is alone, not feeling well, anxious, or depressed. All restrictions of Shabbos and Yom Tov are set aside for significant physical or emotional distress. and physical and emotional distress have equal importance in Jewish law. Especially this weekend, we should be proactive about setting aside these restrictions for even a doubt about whether they apply. This is a requirement of the mitzvah of protecting our physical and emotional health, which overrides other concerns. Please know that I am available for you. I will have my cell phone on and with me at all times. If something urgent arises for you or someone you know, and even if you are not sure if it is really urgent, do not hesitate to call me at any time, even on Yom Tov, even on Shabbos. My cell number is 514-513-2995. If I don't answer immediately, leave a voice message, and if it is urgent, I will return your call as soon as possible. It is crucial that people know when to set aside the laws of Shabbos and Yom Tov and how to be able to contact someone or to contact someone else if there's a need for it. I want to share an insight into the Seder that I think is particularly relevant this year. The Seder leads us through a range of emotions, and there is a place at the Seder for every emotion we might feel. So I want to share an insight by Rav Avram Yoshua Heschel, who is known as the Apter Rav. He was active in the early 1800s. He was a very important Hasidic Rebbe. And he had the following insight. We get to a passage in the Haggadah where we quote 4 psukim, 4 verses, and we analyze those verses. And those psukim, those verses, tell in very brief format the story of the persecution in Egypt and our exodus from Egypt. And one of the verses that we say is the pasuk, V'nitzak el Hashem Elokei Avoseinu, and we cried out to Hashem our God, Vayishma Hashem es kolenu, and God heard our cries. Rav Heschel said at the Seder night is a night when God does miracles. And at the Seder night, when a Jew says this pasuk, V'nitzak el Hashem Elokei Avoseinu, and we cried out to God, that is not only in the past, but it's in the present as well. The Torah tells us in describing the exodus from Egypt, in the beginning of Shemos, V'yidatem, God says to the Jewish people, I want you to know, Ki ani Hashem Elokechem, that I am Hashem, your God, Hamotzi eschem mitachas sivlos Mitzrayim, who takes you out from the persecution of Egypt. But notice, says Rav Heschel, the pasuk does not say, I am God who took you out in the past. Rather, it says, I am God Hamotzi eschem, who takes you out now. Every year at the Seder, God can redeem us from our Mitzrayim, from our difficulty, when we cry out the Nitzak, and we cry out to God, and He hears our prayers. A little bit later in the Torah says, in describing the Seder night, Leil Shimurim Hu LaHashem, it is a night of protection for God, Lahotziyam Me Eretz Mitzrayim, to take them out of the land of Egypt, Hu Halayla Hazeh LaHashem Shimurim L'chol B'nei Yisrael. This is the night for God, a night of protecting all of the children of Israel. And the Sefer Beis Aaron says the verb lahotziyam means to take you out in the future. Not only what God did for us in the past, but every year, the Seder night is a night when we can cry out to God and ask for a miracle of redemption and salvation now, this year, for us. At the Seder, God is giving out miracles, and we need to cry out and ask. And I urge you and me to take advantage this year at the Seder when we say these words, V'nitzak el Hashem Elokei Avosechem, and we cried out to God, that we also now ourselves cry out to God with a full heart for God to heal those who are sick and to comfort those who are alone and to strengthen those who are helping others while risking their lives for us. The Nitzak El Hashem. We need to cry out to God for a miracle this year. For those of us who will be alone this year at the Seder, I'd like to share some insights from a wonderful article written by Yael Unterman. The Seder night is a magical night. We know it's a magical night because we know in our tradition that Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, visits the Seder of every single one of us on Pesach night. It's magic. It transcends reality. But it also attests that we are not alone at the Seder. Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, is with us. And we are not alone because people are thinking of us. And every one of us during the Seder should spend some time thinking about those family members and friends who are not with us, so that every one of us will have someone thinking about us at the Seder. And we are not alone because God is sitting with us. God says to each and every one of us, dear child, if you are alone, I am alone too. Let's alleviate each other's solitude and keep each other company tonight. I saw an insight from Rav Kook, the first Ashkenazi chief rabbi of Israel, who says something amazing. We all know the meaning of the word Pesach, the name of this holiday. We explain the meaning in the Haggadah, in the Seder. Al Shem Shepasach, because God passed over, skipped over the houses of the Jewish people when the houses of the Egyptians were smitten with the plague of the firstborn. Rav Kook gives a different explanation. He says Pesach comes from a different verse, a verse in the book of Malachim, Poschim al Shtei Seifim, which means that God hovers in order to teach us that God does not simply pass over our homes, but rather God hovers over our homes and makes his presence felt. Every year, God hovers over and hugs each one of us, especially at the Seder. A crucial element for how we will experience Pesach this year is our perspective on why we are doing what we are doing, why we are alone or in small groups distant from our loved ones. So I want to share with you very briefly from an article written by Dr. Rafi Rosen, who is a doctor in a hospital in New York. And he wrote, as a physician, I get to hear every day what a hero I am. And he is. I'm thanked for my service like a combat soldier. But no one is writing odes or ballads to each of you, to each of us. To each of us who are postponing weddings, deferring bat mitzvahs, canceling vacations, looking at an empty Shabbos table, or a lonely Pesach. So, Dr. Rosen says, let me be the one to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart and the hearts of all of us working in hospitals, in healthcare during this crisis. The sacrifices you make by being stringent on social distancing will make the difference between life and death for an incalculable number of people. We have your back if you get sick. Please have our back by avoiding getting sick. And I shared this before, but this is so crucial to enabling us to be able to enter Pesach this year with joy. The words of Miriam Peretz, an amazing woman in Israel, who wrote, "Why am I here alone? I am here alone so that I can have the ability soon to open my Shabbat table for 30 people as always, so that I can hear the Kiddush again with all my children and grandchildren." That's the perspective we should strive for at the Seder this year. Finally, I want to share with you the words of Sue Fendrick in a wonderful article that she wrote in Times of Israel. And it's very important advice for all of us. And that is, this year, we are allowed to have a Shvach Seder. Shvach is a Yiddish word, and it means mediocre, or underwhelming, or even pathetic. You don't need to cook 17 different dishes that remind you of every one of the relatives that are not there. You don't need to do all of the cool things that everybody's telling you to do if you're having a Seder by yourself. You don't need to coordinate with your neighbors that you're going to go out to your balcony at 11:30 p.m. and everyone's going to sing Chad Gadi at the same time. If you want to do all those things, that's great. But just remember, we are experiencing a trauma. We are experiencing trauma as individuals and as families, and we are also helping to manage the trauma of others. We are dealing with challenges that we have never faced before. We may feel scared, angry, depressed, or lost. So if you want to do all those things, that's great. But if you want to just make something simple and last minute, that's also fine. And if you want to wait to the last minute to put your Seder table together, and if you want to not have all the discussions and just read through the Haggadah, that's also fine. Focus on what matters to you. Focus on doing at least the minimum. This year, just do what works for you. Do the best that you can do. And above all, do your best to keep everyone healthy. That's the main job. That's the main mitzvah that we have to perform this year. We are going through a lot, and we all just need to take it easy. So I want to finish with singing you a song. We sing this song at our Seder every year, and it's very meaningful to me, and it's particularly meaningful this year. And the song is Nirtzah. It's the very end of the Seder, and it's a short poem, and I'll read and translate the words. Chasal Seder Pesach Kil Chaso. The Pesach service is now finished. We read this at the end. We have finished it. Kechol Mishpato V'chukaso, as it was meant to be performed in accordance with all of its rules and laws, just as we have been privileged to lay out its order this year, so may we be privileged to perform it next year in Jerusalem. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. especially this year. Whether your Seder lives up to your expectations or falls short of your expectations, have the confidence to know that you have done it correctly for you for this year. And here's how we sing it at our house. Chasal Sidur Pesach Kehilchaso Kechol Mishpato Vechukaso Kasher Zachinu Lesaderoso Kein Nizke Laso Zach Shochein Meona Komem Kahal Hadas Mimona Karev Nahel Nitechana Peduyim Litzion Berina Lishana Haba Bihiru Shalayim Lishana Haba Bihiru Shalayim Habnuya Lishana Haba Birushalayim, Lishana Haba, Birushalayim, Lishana Haba, Birushalayim, Lishana Haba, Birushalayim, Habnuya, Lishana Haba, Birushalayim. Next year, all of us together in Jerusalem. Chag Sameach.